Well, hello and welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and tonight we start with this photo of William shared by Kensington Palace's account on X. And he was on his way, according to the caption, en route to Cardiff today to celebrate seaweed innovation. But today we're having a double take because we'll also take a look at those pictures of Meghan looking at Serena Williams' husband. But I know that many of you just like to stare at William. And I love to talk about photography and symbols and facial expressions and, of course, body language. So maybe we can stop for a couple of minutes on this one so I can say why I think this was not posed. And by not posed, I mean, you know how it's so artificial when someone tries to pose for the camera. You see those influencers on the street who have one or two or sometimes three guys around them filming, taking pictures, and then they sit on a park bench with their latte in hand, looking into the distance, waiting for the picture, and it's so silly. But in this case, I'm looking at William, and there's something I want to mention. That is how great that when Kensington Palace shares a photo on X, they share the full resolution picture, so it has impressive detail. In this case, by the way, I think it was taken with an iPhone or other mobile phone, since it has the skin has that blurriness that comes automatically with mobile phones. That is not a complaint. In fact, it would have been harder to get an actual non-pose photo if it wasn't a mobile phone, because whoever took this picture didn't tell William to pose or anything. My guess is that they just pretended that they were browsing cat memes. The photographer was browsing cat memes, and then he took the picture. And there are a few clues that tell me this was not planned. First, the way his jacket is like puffy. It's not stretched out. You know that something that one does when you're wearing a suit and you're going to get a photo taken, you pull it, maybe even button it so it remains flat and tight, and not here. You see that the jacket's lapels are all over the place, and that's good. That's what makes a photo natural, and actually a snapshot of the moment. Also, we are used to see William upright, and I mentioned a couple of videos ago in which taller men tend to be a bit hunched when they walk and even when they sit. Not William. But in this case, he's allowing himself to relax. That's not something that we see in William very frequently. And one of the other signals that tell us that William was relaxed at that moment is that his signature jaw clenching is nowhere to be found. You see in so many pictures of him, those jaw muscles were 100% tense, and none of that is present here, even if the angle of the lighting would have revealed that immediately. Now, I want to stop here because, facial expressions are something that fascinate me, and that's why so many of you are here as well. And I said, a penny for William's thoughts. What is going through his head? I asked that question on X, and I got all sorts of answers to this. So you're also invited to give your own opinions in the comments. My first impression was serenity and even hopeful. Well, at least that was my first impression of him. Some of you said that you saw sadness in his eyes, and I want to comment about that with something that I forgot to mention with those pictures with George a couple weeks ago. And this has to do with Catherine. We all miss her, and we are willing to give her all the time she needs to come back. But this kind of body language, the body language of William and George in public, is the best reassurance that things are going well back home. I know that I thought about that back then, and I'm pretty sure that I didn't mention it, and I apologize for that. So yes, this is a way that I know that Catherine is doing well at her own pace. But at the same time, I hear you. And I can understand that some of you notice sadness in his eyes. May I suggest that it's the weight on his shoulders that reflects on his face? Because there is something about facial expressions when they are so subtle like this. And sometimes it's not that we misinterpret them, but it's that we don't have enough emotional vocabulary to go beyond, for example, just sadness. That could be one thing. But either way, his eyes speak volumes, and we know that a lot of that is divided between the present and the future. And before we move on to the next analysis, I would like to mention that the red, thick folder right in front of him immediately reminded me of the red box of the Queen, the one where she got all the correspondence and important paper stuff sorted out, just like the King has right now. So it's Prince William being a statesman in all the sense of the word, especially because he looks the part, much more so when the photo was spontaneous. But let's move on with the other topic of this double shot of body language, and I'm talking about the pictures of Meghan ogling Serena Williams' husband, Alexis Ohanian. This topic popped up in one of my live streams, and I had to give it a good look. I mean, we have so much going on here. The head tilt with a lot of tilt, the relaxed eyebrows that back then were not king size. The looks, she looks like a cartoon character. You know, when a cartoon character displays all the tropes of being in love, with the hand playing with her hair and the nervous smile and all that. Does this only happen with billionaires, is my question? Because nobody has made the official Meghan taxonomy to, for starters, be clear about which stage of Meghan are we looking at. I know, I should be the one to do it. Maybe at some point I will make a complete Meghan physiognomy evolution timeline. But at this stage, she was trying so desperately to be charming. It would have been awesome being in front of an actual, real billionaire, so that's why we see that Cheshire grin in all its glory. Also, jokes aside, there's one particular body language clue that is happening in here, and that women do when they are flirting. And it has to do with showing her wrist. This is something that women do, and also combine with the hair flick to show interest in a man. But heads up, I am not saying that every time a woman makes a gesture that exposes her wrists is that she's flirting. That doesn't work that way. But it is a signal, a clue of flirting. This is another picture that is a combination of both. And it's a transition from one state to another. They are about to hug, and you see that Meghan's attention is straight towards him, while Alexis' body is rather pointing to one side. It's like he was going to hug her with just one arm, but she went for the full Monty. And when I say the full Monty, I don't mean the movie, which is pretty funny, by the way, but the full hug. The big question is, where is Meghan's right hand? And that's a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer it. No, seriously, better don't answer it. But what strikes me as interesting is that she's got the same face expression like she had when she got Harry in the bag at the wedding. This is the kind of things that you notice when you have studied someone for some time. And with Meghan, I almost have a PhD. But Rogues, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and remember, much love and bliss.